to the 4 quarter-final matches of the 2014 FIFA World Cup. To talk more about that, we have Ashley Westwood, Bengaluru FC's I-League winning coach, and Eric Benny, former Team India manager, with me in the studio. Boria Majumdar, consulting editor, will join us soon from Kolkata. Kevin Moore, the director of the National Football Museum, is joining us from Manchester, as is Arunavar Chaudhary from Berlin. We'll also be joined by our expert Mihir Bose, noted sports journalist and author, who's in Brazil and will give us a feel of just what the camps are saying ahead of these big matches. But first up, let's take a look at the draw as it stands right now. The final 8 lineup of the World Cup. As we just mentioned, it's Brazil versus Colombia, France versus Germany, the first 2 quarterfinals, and then the big one, Argentina, will take on in their quarterfinals, and then of course Netherlands versus Costa Rica. Argentina will be a big team to watch out for against Belgium. Let's see if a Belgian side can actually manage an upset, as perhaps is expected from them as the dark horses. First up, of course, Brazil taking on Colombia on the 4th of July in what promises to be a cracking contest for a spot in the semi-finals. More than that, it seems it's a clash between the 2 number 10s of the teams, James Rodriguez and Neymar, that is making the headlines. Neymar, of course, entered this tournament as the competition's poster boy. No player had more expectations on his shoulders than this one. Those who had only seen Neymar perform in red and blue stripes were skeptical whether he can deliver what Brazil expected, but he has gone from strength to strength in his team's 4 matches so far, scoring 4 goals, consistently being Brazil's most potent attacking force. For Rodriguez, he has lived up to the mantle of being the new kid as the successor to Colombian playmaking great Carlos Valderrama, hasn't he? He scored a double, including a wonder goal to see off South American champions Uruguay 2-0 and take his tally to 5 for the finals with 2 assists. A new star has been born, and already the Colombian man is being linked to clubs across Europe. So indeed, it will be a battle between 2 personalities when these 2 clash in Fortaleza. Ashley, would it be fair to say the 2 most flamboyant teams meeting in this quarterfinal? Normally, you wouldn't make much of this matchup, but given Colombia's performances so far, this one actually becomes quite interesting and tough for Brazil. Yeah, definitely. I mean, Colombia have probably been a little bit of a surprise package. I think when Falcao got injured before the tournament, a lot of people wrote them off, and then obviously with that happening, it's enabled, Rodriguez to come and shine. They've lost 1 big player, but they've also gained another one. So it's going to be an interesting clash, and probably a clash of like you said, the 2 number 10s, the 2 big stars. Let's see who's going to be the best. Brazil, they perhaps didn't want to meet Colombia, in the quarterfinals, because many players in the Brazilian team and former greats of the country feel this could be a very tough one for them.
This would be a real tough one for Brazil, because it's a South American team. They're used to the climate, they're used to the conditions. Now they've done really well for themselves. They've done very well in the last 3 games. Now this game, Brazil, they'll struggle.
All right, let's go across to Mihir Bose. Mihir, are home fans viewing Colombia as a credible threat in this one? Like I mentioned, former players have raised doubts over Brazil's title credentials, and current team members too feel Colombia is going to be very, very tough for them.
I think Brazil will be very worried about Colombia. Colombia played very well against Uruguay. Their progress so far has been good. Rodriguez scored 2 wonderful goals. The first one was excellent, probably one of the goals of the tournament. The second one showed how the team can construct a goal with 3 or 4 players combining very well. And overall their play was good. The Colombian goalkeeper was good. So I think Brazil will worry about Colombia as much, if not more, than Chile. And yes, it's quite right. Brazil has not shown itself to be a title contender. Now, they've been very competitive matches. Argentina have also had their problems, but Brazil certainly has looked a very average side. Compared to their great teams, this is almost unrecognizable as the Brazil we know and love.
Right, there's one man though Brazil will be banking on, and that's Neymar, isn't it? Boria, you labeled this as Neymar versus Rodriguez. Before we take a look at just what these 2 can deliver in this match, Neymar, a real pressure situation for him. Brazil overall not looking as good as many had expected.
But that's not the point. The point is they've delivered so far. Ultimately, what matters is a victory. If you take the Brazilian victory in 2002, several people will tell you that is not the best team of all. 1982 with Zico, Socrates, Falcao was perhaps the best Brazilian team. What happened? Paulo Rossi shattered that dream. You don't always need to be the best team, Shivani. You don't need to play the best football. All you need to do at the end of the day, are you world champion, yes or no? 1982 team? Definitely not. 2002 under Luis Felipe Scolari in South Korea and Japan? Yes. So even if they don't play the best football, if Neymar scores and Brazil wins, that's what matters. Defeat, I keep saying, is an orphan. Victory has many fathers.
Yes, Arunava now joins us from Berlin. Arunava, do you anticipate an upset in this one? So far, we've not seen any upsets in the knockouts. All 8 winners of the groups have progressed into the quarterfinals expectedly. Do you expect one in this one?
I think anything is possible from now on, and I think all 8 teams who are still left in the competition will want to win the World Cup. And I think it's also a question of how fit is Neymar going to be going into this match, because I think that's the biggest fear that the Brazilians have, that Neymar, who was limping after the match against Chile, might not be 100%. So, and Scolari has said some interesting things, that he might be even pondering about changing a system if Neymar is not available from the start. So I'm sure he's going to play in the end, but it's going to be a lot of question on fitness, and I think the Colombians will often learned a little bit from the Chileans on how to put pressure on Neymar.
Absolutely. Colombia with a lot of flair, and one man who's been leading the headlines for them, Ashley, is James Rodriguez, J-Rod, as he's coming to known as. This man, single-handedly, you feel, has the potential to upset Brazil's hopes, break millions of hearts with this talent that has already been on display. Just talk us through with what he does, which is so beautiful and has attracted the world's eye.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've spoken about Rodriguez and Neymar being the best 2 players. What's good about Rodriguez for me is his awareness. If you watch him, the goals that Mia was talking about, he's constantly on the move and he's constantly scanning over his shoulder, trying to scan the play, look for space, which is what happened before that amazing volley we've seen. But there's 3 things on the volley that came into play which made it so special. One, which I've mentioned, him moving around. So if you look, as the ball's about to come into him, just before it comes into him, he has a quick look over his shoulder. So before the ball's even arrived, he knows where he is and he knows he's got time to maybe execute what he's thinking. Next thing, the ball comes into him onto his chest, but it's also like a full motion that he does. He chests the ball down, knowing that the defender's off him, knowing he's got space, and as he chests it down, he spins, and then you've got the execution of the volley, which was top draw. He gets his head over the ball, he gets his knee, his technique was really firm, gets a good contact, but he enables to control it and hit the bar and get into the roof of the net, which was exquisite. So the 3 things: the awareness and knowing what he wants to do before the ball arrives. Secondly, the cushion of the chest to spin on the move, and then thirdly, the execution of the volley. Fantastic technique, knee over the ball, body shape nice and open with his shoulders down to keep the control, and strikes it right into the roof of the net. So a very good player, but similar in Neymar's calibre, apart from Rodriguez's left foot and Neymar's right foot. If you look at the bodies, the 2 are fairly similar, both upright, both flexible, both have great balance. With Neymar being right-footed, the difference what he does, which makes him really impressive for me, is when he's dribbling, a good thing for all the young people looking out there, is when he's dribbling with the ball, he doesn't have his eye down on the ball. He's dribbling, but his shoulders are up and his head's up. It's almost like he doesn't have to look at the ball. He's in control of the ball. The ball's not in control of him. So he dribbles on the move. Every now and again, he'll glance down at the ball, which enables him then to have his awareness. So if defenders are coming in to close him down, he knows at which angle they're coming, he knows where the ball is, and he control. One thing to look out for in the game that he does quite a lot, which sounds simple, and I'll show you, is fairly simple, but it's the pace that he does that and the awareness. He'll dribble at pace with his head up, and as he's getting closed down, he likes that one, the little move to dribble away from defenders. So me doing that there looks simple, but you try and do that at almost 3/4 sprinting pace with the ball, quick move, and then he's off the other side as the defender comes into him.
Yeah.
Great balance and great skill.
So safe to say there'll be a lot of skill on display in this one for both Neymar and Rodriguez. Ashley, thanks a lot for that explanation and that demonstration. Really makes you understand just how much it takes for the simple things you see on the field, but they're really, really difficult, and that's why Neymar, Rodriguez, 22-year-olds, really the poster boys of this matchup. Let's look forward to the other quarterfinal now. It's a classic World Cup quarterfinal clash. Joachim Löw's Germany taking on Didier Deschamps' France at the Maracana in Rio de Janeiro. And it could also be a matchup between Germany's Müller and France's Benzema. of course. 4 years after being mistaken for a ball boy by Diego Maradona, Muller insists he would rather be a World Cup winner than claim another golden boot, which he did last World Cup. He's in contention again, remember, scoring 4 times in his matches already. With 9 goals in 10 World Cup games now, he's well in line to become the tournament's all-time leading scorer with age on his side. His speciality is, of course, he can play pretty much anywhere across the midfield or in attack. He's the kind of player who can both score and create goals. We'll talk about him a little bit more in detail with our guest. France's main star, Karim Benzema, who wasn't picked for France 4 years ago, nearly had a hat-trick in this World Cup, scoring 2 and having a hand in an own goal as Le Bleu beat Honduras 3-0. With 3 goals in total and having been credited with 2 assists, he has enhanced his reputation as a world-class striker and will be French main weapon, together with, of course, young Paul Pogba, who finally scored in the last match. So this one is going to be an interesting clash as well when they face off at the Maracana on the 4th. Let me go across to Kevin Moore, the director of the National Football Museum, who's joining us from Manchester. Kevin, 2 classic European neighbouring foes meeting up, a classic matchup, a lot of rivalry at play here.
Yes, very much so. Too close to call and very much a grudge match. Football fans have long memories, and France will remember, as will West Germany in those days, France losing to West Germany in the '86 semi-final, and France had already put out Brazil and Italy in that tournament. And then in one of the most notorious incidents in World Cup history, the semi-final in 1982, up against West Germany. And then the German goalkeeper, Tony Schumacher, committed an appalling offence on Patrick Battiston of France, who was carried off, nearly died, lost 4 teeth, swallowed his tongue, nearly died on the pitch. Turning point, Germany score two goals, it goes to penalties, France lose. So this is a real grudge match.
Absolutely. You couldn't have set up better than that. Eric, we talked about Muller, we talked about Benzema. Muller, of course, as we said, in line to become perhaps the best scorer ever in World Cups. And he had an off day the other day. He'll have to be on song, and he has this habit of being at the right place at the right time, which works for him really well. Just tell us what could make him the biggest threat for France in this one.
All right, so Muller is a player who has the capacity of being a player who will be creative, who will be attacking. He'll contribute to everything, even defending, as a matter of fact. Now, if you've seen the goal that he scored, so typically, all right, now I'll demonstrate in terms of what Muller did right. There was this clearance by the goalkeeper, which Muller did. And now, if you see the clearance came on the top of the D. Now, Muller, being an attacking player, could have been inside the D box out there. But you know what he chooses to do? He's on top of the D. And if that's the goal, what he does is he sets his body in line, moves into the ball. He meets the ball and the body's on the ball. Now, what he does is, he hits the ball on this part of his foot, all right, which could have gone straight. But what he chooses to do is, he hits it from this part. Now, what it does, it gives it a curl. And as soon as he got that curl, it did the side net. And that was beautiful on technique, spot on. So Muller is that clever fox out there who can just turn a game around, because he knows, he's so aware in terms of what he could expect, and he's anticipating things. So he's just not in the moment, but he's also anticipating, which is incredible.
He has a real killing instinct, a predatory instinct, if I can call it that, which makes him so effective for Germany. Last one was the only match he actually didn't score in, and he had an off day, but he had chances in that as well. Overall, it was a tough match for Germany. Let me go across to Mihir once again. Both teams looking good. Difficult to really call this one, Mihir. How are the camps viewing this matchup?
Before the last 16 round of matches began, Germany looked quite awesome in the way it had progressed through the group. France, not quite that good, but still impressive. The problem with France was whether it could score goals, it could dominate matches, it could have a lot of possession, but could it convert possession into real goals that matter? France struggled against Nigeria. In the end, they won by 2 goals, but that margin rather flattered them. The goals came right at the end. And Germany had a torrid time against Algeria. In fact, there were moments when it looked like the African side could beat the Germans. So clearly, both teams have problems. Germany will still go into the match much more confident, much more the favourite. But actually, it's a much more difficult game to call. Though, if you had to bet your house or your fortune on it, I think you would go for Germany.
Right. If you're a betting person, then you got the advice from Mihir right there in Brazil. So Benzema becomes even that much more important for France, isn't it? You're a French supporter, Eric. What do you want to see from Benzema in this one?
Benzema should be très très bien, as they say in French. It's like excellent. All right, so what I'll do is I'll request Ash to help me out here. There are a few things that I love Benzema do, and the way I break it down and I see it is, if I have to move towards Shivani on that side, and if I am Benzema and I've got a defender right close here, what Benzema would usually do is, he would receive the ball on the back of his foot. Now, he's feeling the defender. Now he's blocking him away, the defender can't come and get it, and he moves on. He's fantastic, and if you see him score, thanks Ash, if you see him score, as soon as he's done that bit, he would just slightly look up, and he would then see where the goalkeeper is positioned, and he would just place it. If you see most of his goals, he would not shoot it before, he would just wait calm, patient, and see. And if there has to be a chip, he'll do a chip. If he has to place it, he'll place it. So Benzema, spot on. I want him to score this game. And like I said, très très bien.
All right. Eric, the ever so effervescent French supporter. And so far, he's had a lot to be very cheerful about, Eric. And here's a very special man in a special photo from Brazil. Former Indian captain Sunil Gavaskar enjoying the match between Argentina and Switzerland in Sao Paulo the other day. Well, it seems nobody wants to miss the World Cup in Brazil, and why not when Brazil, Argentina and other South American countries are playing in the same continent. Now, 2 times world champions Argentina, they take on Belgium in the third quarter-final match on Saturday. Argentina, of course, will start as clear favourites against the 1986 semi-finalists. Reason? Lionel Messi, of course. For Belgium, their key player will be Eden Hazard. Though the Chelsea winger is yet to score a goal in the tournament, he has assisted 2 match-winning goals against Algeria and Russia, and now even Lukaku has shown his prowess in the win against USA. But they will be up against arguably the best player in the world, Lionel Messi. He's been outstanding in the tournament so far, having scored 4 goals and assisting in 1 match-winning goal against Switzerland in the pre-quarter-finals. But can he do what Diego Maradona did in 1986, scoring match-winning goals for Argentina against Belgium now in the quarter-finals? Messi has it in him and looks determined for the challenge, but can Eden and company stop him? It will be an interesting contest when these 2 teams meet in Brasilia on Saturday night. Actually, this one is interesting. So far, Belgium, were a little underwhelming. Finally, they had a match against USA where they could play their game. USA didn't sit back. They came out and attacked. And even the players then accepted that so far we'd been unimpressive, but they finally showed us what we wanted to see in that match.
Yeah, I think, when the games open up, then Belgium come into their own. You see Lukaku be effective coming off the bench. That's exactly how it happens. The game's opened up, there's space for him to run in behind, show his strength, where he's threatening the back line, and he obviously scored a good goal. So, it's with Argentina probably being the favourites, it should lead to a nice open game where Belgium might come into their own.
Will
and
Lukaku
show
start
their strength. In
this one?
That's the dilemma. I mean, for me, he's better, more effective coming off the bench. The last half an hour of a game is so different from the first 60 minutes. It's always quite cagey for 60 minutes. It's a little bit like a game of chess. But as it opens up, as goals start coming, then he's nice and effective. So, with him being substituted after 60 minutes in 2 games, missed the next one, but for him, he's come on, he's scored, he'll be knocking on that manager's door saying, I want to start, so he's got a real tough decision to make.
Yes, and it will be a tough match for both teams in a way, because they haven't really set the stage alight, but they both have the potential. Argentina, Boria, for you, starting as clear favourites in this one, or do you think this is fairly even?
Absolutely Argentina as favourites, there's no question. This man will win it for Argentina, Shivani. I've been saying it from the start. And just imagine, it's set up, isn't it? Semi-final in 86, quarter-final here. We don't talk about that second goal against Belgium by Maradona. It was as good as the goal against England, or nearly as good. This is Lionel Messi's stage. Come Belgium, one more step forward for the man. So there's no question. Yes, Belgium has been good against the United States, a little underwhelming in the other games, but it's a good side. And that's what Argentina needs. One more step forward. Yesterday there was not a goal. I mean, when Messi, about 10 minutes to go, the kind of skill he demoed when he just sort of went past the defense, the Swiss defense, it was magical. This man is sheer magic, and that's what we want to see. The Belgium match has been set up. It's God's gift to him.
Right.
Maradona had it, he has it. Here comes Lionel Messi, here comes his stage.
Absolutely. Boria is all gung-ho about this one already, isn't it? So you can't sleep, Boria, before this match, I'm guessing. But let's go across to our Twitter heat map for the match that Argentina played against Switzerland. So you see a lot of people tweeting and, of course, a lot of buzz all around the world. But it actually really triggers off when the match finishes, because this was a close finish, a late finish, and of course orchestrated by that man Lionel Messi, as Boria was saying, in the dying finishing moments of the match. More of that is required from this man. Let me go across to Arunava now. Lionel Messi, you think it's not even a question that he's gone better game by game, and you know he's only turning out to be more and more instrumental and dangerous? Of course, a lot of buzz. Arunava, can you hear me? All right, let me take that to Kevin then. Kevin, what's your take on this one? Argentina, do you think they've shown enough, and Lionel Messi, to be real threats to the title now?
I still think so, even though they made a meal of it getting through. The only thing I'd say is, I'm inclined to agree with Boria, the only thing I'd say is it depends on Messi to a large extent. That's a lot of pressure on one man. All the pressure's on Argentina. Belgium have got to where they're expected to be. Belgium are under no pressure whatsoever now. They won't expect to win. They're the underdogs. So it's just whether the pressure gets to Argentina, as it seemed to in the last game.
Yeah, so pressure will be a huge deal in this one. Let's talk about Belgium a little bit. They made quite a meal of their match against USA as well, and many would say USA perhaps unlucky to lose in the fashion that they did. This man, Tim Howard, has become a legend for USA. These are the tweets that Tim Howard was getting during this match. His brilliant saves, really the peaks. Almost 57,000 tweets per minute when Howard was doing his job at the USA net, and it was quite heartbreaking to actually hear him after the match. He could barely control his tears. It was a tough way for USA to go out. Let's just take a look at some of the tweets on this one. Actually, we'll get back to that in just a bit. But Ashley, your take on this one. Easily Argentina, or you think Belgium now can give a fight? Give us a prediction.
You know, we're all praying and hoping that Messi can deliver what he's renowned for. You know, like Kevin says, if it's down to one man, you know, it's a lot of pressure on one man's shoulder. But, you know, Belgium, interestingly, haven't lost since Courtois has been in the goal.
Yeah.
I think it's 21 games now they've gone without a defeat once he's been in the net. So, you know, if that record is to stand, then that would show them go through. So it could go either way for me. But, you know, I hope that it's Argentina and it's set up for the final that we're hoping.
Yes, Belgium record shots on goal in the other match. Eric, have they opened up now? I mean, Lukaku said, you know, that this is the kind of game we want to play. This is finally we got to play that game. And Tim Howard said that Lukaku made the difference. So have Belgium kind of settled down now after this last match?
I kind of agree, because they found their style now.
Yeah.
They're going out there, they're making their presence being felt. It was difficult. Well, definitely it was. It's a World Cup game. It's got to be difficult. But I don't think they are as good as they are to beat Argentina. Because Messi has played high-pressure games. This boy can deliver. And Boria, this one's for Argentina. Huh? I think they will go there and they will nail Belgium down.
All right, Boria would be happy with that one. Eric giving the thumbs up to Argentina. Let's go across to the man in Brazil. Argentina, Belgium, Mihir. After yesterday's win, in fact, Messi said his side was lucky to win the contest. So your views on Argentina's progression so far?
Well, you know, with Argentina, one gets the impression that you're watching a game where you're waiting for one man called Lionel Messi. And you wait, and you wait, and you wait. And then suddenly, perhaps in the last few minutes, perhaps almost in injury time, Messi produces a bit of magic and Argentina go through. He did this in one of the group matches, which of course was a group match he didn't have to go through. And then he did it again yesterday, where he didn't himself score the goal, but he made the goal and Di Maria scored. So one, of course, given that you have such a player who's the player of the World Cup, you can't rule anything out. Belgium, I must say, looked very, very ropey. And for a long time, I thought that the United States might surprise the Belgium. And then after Belgium had gone 2-0 ahead, the USA nearly pegged them back. So I think they call this the best Belgian side for a generation. It'll be a good game, but again, with Messi there, I think we will wait, perhaps not quite as long as we've done, and the magic will take them through.
All right, the magic is what all Argentina fans are waiting for. And wouldn't that really set this World Cup alight even more if we see some more from that little magician? Time for us to slip into our third break. But before that, a reminder of our first question of Carnival Weekly Contest number 4. Who was the first person to score a goal in extra time in a World Cup final? To participate, SMS HLTCB space your answer to 52424. 3 lucky winners get selected Adidas merchandise, and at the end of our 5 Carnival Weekly contest, 1 winner can drive home a brand new Maruti Suzuki Swift. Be the swiftest participant with maximum correct answers to drive home the brand new car. As we slip into our break, we leave you with what Argentina, Swiss, Belgian and USA fans had to say after their pre-quarter-final matchups. Quite interesting to see what the fans had to say and react to the result, which were quite thrilling in the end. We'll be back in just 2 minutes.
Sufrí mucho el partido, igual que todos, y me pareció justo que hayamos ganado porque nos merecíamos el partido.
Nervioso. Preferiría que se terminen los 90 minutos la próxima también. Un juego que nos costó muchísimo llegar al arco. Creo que llegamos muchas veces más que ellos. Ellos tuvieron muy pocas oportunidades y Argentina de los más. Argentina.
I've enjoyed the game. It was very near together, but finally I think Messi faced different. A very good pass to Di Maria, and the shot was too short. And yeah, the golero Benales played very well today, but the shot was too hard for him.
It was a thriller. My heart almost crashed. But you know what? Saturday we're gonna eat Argentinian steak.
It's the first time I see the World Cup, and it's wonderful to see my country in the quarterfinals. It's wonderful.
It was fantastic. Yeah? Yeah, but very, very stressful.
Momently, we hope to go to semi-final and maybe final. For the rest, we are the champions.
I thought the U.S. could have equalized if Dempsey had scored that chance from the free kick. Otherwise, they played really great, and Tim Howard was exceptional today.
My heart is broken. My heart is done. Every 4 years, now we're going to be another 4 years. I'm boycotting Belgian waffles, chocolate, Stella Artois, everything Belgian is boycotted, bro.
4 years ago, if you told me that we were going to lose to Germany by 1 and take Belgium to overtime, would have been great. So now America's got a bright future, definitely. Yeah. Bright future.
Yeah, looking good.
Finally, let's talk about last year's runners-up Netherlands, who will take on giant killers Costa Rica in the final quarter-final on Saturday. Netherlands start as overwhelming favourites due to their super performance, especially from Arjen Robben, while Joel Campbell will lead Costa Rica's challenge. Campbell scored the all-important goal against Uruguay in the round-robin match and also assisted in one more. The Arsenal striker looks sharp and deadly up front, and Netherlands defenders must mark him quite tightly in this one, but he will be up against arguably the best player in the tournament so far, Arjen Robben, who has been simply outstanding with his brilliant run down the middle and from the flanks, the dribbles and the superb solo effort goals. Robben has 3 goals so far and has assisted in one more and created umpteen number of chances for the Netherlands. In fact, he has been the live wire in their midfield and attack. A very good matchup, really, a cracker of a match in offing at Salvador on Saturday night. Arunava, let me come to you first up. Would you say Van Gaal is the trump card really for Netherlands? His tactics always seem to work brilliantly, and of course he's known for his legendary substitutions.
it's worked for him so far, and I think a lot of people were surprised when he took off Robin van Persie and brought on Huntelaar, and Huntelaar was the match winner for him in the last match against Mexico. But I've just read a piece of bad news for the Netherlands, which is that Nigel de Jong is injured and he's out for the complete World Cup. So that might be a destabilizing factor for the Netherlands in their defensive midfield.
Yes, Eric, Ticos will be the underdogs, but by how much do you think in this one?
I think they'll turn it around. Why should not they turn it around? It's a collective team together. They've performed. If they've qualified and made it to this level, they have some substance in them. And I would want them to give the Dutch a hard time. So I don't see this game.
Are you anticipating an upset though?
Definitely, yes.
You'll put your money on it?
Yes.
All right.
And my mouth.
All right, let me just get a quick reaction from Kevin Moore as well. Kevin, Couch came out and said the other day, I won't swap Robin for any player in the world. He's really having the World Cup of his life.
He's playing tremendously well. Every World Cup needs a fairy story. Costa Rica getting this far is absolutely fantastic. So pleased they've done it. But fairy stories come to an end. I expect Holland to win this one, to have too much for them.
All right, Ashley, a quick prediction from you on this one. Where do you see this one going? Comfortable for Netherlands?
No, it won't be comfortable. I think Costa Rica 4-1, maybe 4-1 if you like, or you know, very defensive. But the spotlight will be on Robin. Everyone's also forgetting that dive now. You know, how's he going to react to that? Everyone's going to be looking at him, and you know, he's going to have a lot of pressure on his shoulders. So we'll see.
Yes, but he came out and said he dived, but so far no action. Perhaps, you know, he'll feel he can't do this again in the very next match, but you never know. Boria, what are your thoughts? All of this talk around Robin, he's been the most brilliant player so far, but has had a lot of negative highlight on him as well, as Ashley just pointed out.
You know, I don't think it will matter. He'll forget all that when he's there on that park. He's there to take the Dutch to the semi-finals, and it will be the Dutch all the way. They've been absolutely magical. Louis van Gaal is a top draw coach. He will get the tactics right. I think it's Holland's World Cup in several ways. You know, you would want a big team. For me, the World Cup is about big matchups. Germany, France, Brazil, Colombia. Let the Dutch go through. Costa Rica, the beautiful, you know, dream. They can live with a quarterfinal dream. Let the Dutch go through. Never been there, done that. Let Arjen Robben and Robin van Persie do it for Louis van Gaal.
Yes, Robin has in fact come out and said that we're on a mission, and if you look at the way he's playing on the pitch, then definitely this man wants to take that trophy back home, give something for the generations to come to cherish. Eric, Ashley, Boria, Arunava and Kevin, and also of course Mihir Bose from Brazil, thanks a lot for joining us. We leave you with what the Argentina and Brazil fans had to say before the quarterfinals. They're preparing actually for a Brazil versus Argentina final, as are a lot of people. We'll leave you with that. Thanks a lot for watching.
We're gonna beat Argentina in the final because I'm Brazilian, you know, and the World Cup is us. Yeah! Woo! Brazil!
Bueno, esto se lo regalamos a los brasileños que hablan hablando de nosotros de mal, y sí que bueno, se lo regalamos.
¡Vamos, Argentina!